What's good, Joe? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you're listening to Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you know we always keep it real. Let's get straight into it, man. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Share with a friend and share with a friend. And let's talk about this Eagles versus Browns game. Boom. So, am I impressed by this win? Hell no. Why would I be impressed by this win? Why would I be impressed? What's there to be happy about? Ain't that what Kobe said? What's there to be happy about? Beating the Browns 20-16. If I see this correctly, let's just talk about who the Browns have lost to and by how much. They're not a good football team. They're not a good football team. So they lost to the Cowboys 33-17. They lost that game by 16 points. They lost to the Commanders 34-13. Hell, the Giants beat them by 6 points. So the Commanders, the Giants, and the Cowboys outscored the Browns more than the Eagles did. And that's supposed to be an impressive win. We had all our guys back. I know Dallas Goedert was out in the beginning. He ended up being out for the game. But we essentially had our team. I know Jordan Mailata was out later in the game. You have A.J. Brown. You have Saquon Barkley. You have Devontae Smith. You should drop 30. You should drop 30. What we are seeing, I'm going to talk about this defense. I'm going to talk about this offense. I'm going to talk about this coaching staff. Let's first talk about this offense. I don't think I can understate how historically bad Kellen Moore has been this year. With the talent the Eagles have, and in your first 5 games, you make history by not scoring a single point in the first quarter. That is actually much worse than what Brian Johnson did. Brian Johnson's offense, without Saquon Barkley, with DeAndre Swift, who we believe is nice, but he's not Saquon Barkley. He was still active against the Vikings. He was still active against the Commanders and other teams, right? The Eagles' offense was still humming. It was still humming. It might have been some times where we didn't like certain stuff. It was a QB draw, a bubble screen that we didn't like in a certain spot. And yeah, for sure, some of those play calls were not good. But overall, the offense was still productive, for real, for real. I do believe it's the same case as last year where the offense is humming, but the offense is winning based off their talent. It's not based off scheme. It's not based off scheme. I want y'all to be honest with me. Be honest. Matter of fact, don't even be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. If you saw that Lions and Cowboys game and you saw what Ben Johnson was dialing up, because Ben Johnson has some weapons. He got Jahmyr Gibbs. He got David Montgomery. He got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jared Goff, a fantastic offensive line. They have some great weapons. But is it not only the talent, but the scheme? You saw what Ben Johnson was dialing up. This man out here giving plays for the right tackle, Penei Sewell. You saw that touchdown pass to Sam Laporta. This guy's a wizard. But he is showing that, yes, I have a very, very talented team, but I'm not lazy, and I'm going to be out here doing the best of my abilities to go ahead and scheme my ultra-talented players open. Versus Kellen Moore, and maybe Nick Sirianni too, have such a lazy and cocky approach to this Eagles offense. You have 2 weeks coming off a bye. to prepare for the Cleveland Browns. You know, we're not having the most success in the beginning of games. But you're so lazy and so cocky that you say, you know what? A.J. Brown, he's so great. Devontae Smith, he's so great. That we're just going to go ahead and just throw, go balls at them. Hey, just run straight, bro. Hurt, just toss it up. AJ somewhere. Devontae somewhere. They'll go ahead and get it. And then Jalen Hurts started the game 0-5. Now, if you just looked at the box score and you saw, okay, Hurts was 0-5, and early on in the game, you would say, oh, he's playing terrible. No, it's the scheme. It's the scheme. This Eagles offense does not consistently use the middle of the field. It's either a very, very short pass or it's a go ball. And the times that they did use a dig route or they did use any intermediate passes, then you saw Devontae Smith go off. Go off. So here's my plea. I would tell Jeffrey Lurie, this offseason, I want you to give a blank check to Ben Johnson. How much you want, big bro? How much you want, gang? How much you want? Because at the end of the day, this is an investment in the offense that you already have invested a whole lot of money into with the goal to win a Super Bowl. So ask yourself, look at the Lions, look at what Ben Johnson is doing with the talent he has, and say to yourself, are the Eagles overachieving or underachieving with their offensive talent? And don't give me the BS that Jared Goff is 10 times better than Jalen Hurts, even though I believe Hurts is better than Goff. Let's just say that you believe Jared Goff is better than Jalen Hurts. Jared Goff, not Lamar Jackson good. He not that good. He's at his best when he has a very, very smart OC that is strategically allowing him to be great by putting his playmakers in the best positions to succeed. But the whole offense, at a certain point, it was either go balls, it was either Saquon Barkley inside zone run, or if it was a third and short, a fourth and short, tush push. That's so disrespectful to the fans at Lincoln Financial Field. Y'all had 2 weeks and that's what you come up with in the beginning? No, that's not okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. So we have to look at this and say, all right, we need somebody. I'm trying to tell you, give Ben Johnson a blank check and say, how much do you want? I want you to change my franchise. Ben Johnson would change the Eagles franchise. And the thing is, I would rather have an offensive-minded head coach instead of a defensive-minded head coach, because at least with an offensive-minded head coach, he's that constant factor. With the LA Rams, who's that constant factor? It doesn't matter which coordinator come and go, whatever. Sean McVay is always there. With the Chiefs, Andy Reid, it can be Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy. It doesn't matter. It can come and go, but Andy Reid is that constant factor. When you have a defensive-minded head coach, that I feel like in recent memory, that's only really worked with Bill Belichick. It's worked with like Pete Carroll, but like it's really worked with at a high level with Bill Belichick. But he was in a very unique situation where you have Josh McDaniels, who's a great offensive coordinator who was content with not being a head coach. Yeah, he tried to be a head coach. Then he was like, it's not my thing. Then he went ahead and like came back to New England. But ultimately, that was a very unique situation where you have an offensive coordinator who's content with being an OC versus if Bill Belichick comes in and he brings in, let's just say he brings in Bobby Slowick from the Texans. Probably won't happen. Bobby Slowick is probably going to be a head coach next year. But let's just say, just for hypotheticals, right? He brings in Bobby Slowick, and this Eagles team, let's just say, makes it to the NFC Championship or makes it to the Super Bowl, whatever the case may be, right? Bobby Slowick is most likely getting a head coaching job. So then it's like Jalen Hurts, once again, has to go ahead and switch coordinators and learn somebody else's new system year in, year out. Jalen Hurts is a guy that he has had to learn Shane Steichen's system. He's had to learn Brian Johnson's system. Now he's had to learn Kellen Moore's system. And the guy has been a starting quarterback for 3 years. So that means each year he's had somebody new. That's crazy. Well, I guess with Shane Steichen, he had him for like 2 years. But these past 2 years has been 2 different coordinators. You can't say that for a young quarterback that's really beneficial. You can't. Obviously, it's not. Obviously, it's not. So that's what that is there. I know y'all waiting for me to talk about Nick Sirianni, which I will. Let's start being more positive. Real quick. I'll start being more positive. I start on offense, so I'll stick with offense real quick. I was very excited to see Jalen Hurts trust Grant Calcaterra. I was very happy about that. I was happy to see Jalen Hurts trust Grant Calcaterra, especially with Dallas Goedert being a little bit banged up, and we'll see how he is later on this week. But I'm like, look, the thing is with Jalen Hurts, when he trusts you, he trusts you. He trusts you. It was like he anointed Grant Calcaterra. He was like, I trust you now. I trust you now. You're my guy now. I think he's getting there with Jahan Dotson. It's like, all right, now, I trust you. I trust you. I anointed you. I anointed you. Because we know that he trusts A.J. Brown. He trusts Devontae Smith. He trusts Dallas Goedert, even though sometimes I feel like when A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith come back, he hasn't used Dallas Goedert as much as he should. But this game, he was using Grant Calcaterra at a very, very great rate. I love the volume that he was using him with. Grant Calcaterra, he had himself a monster game, a career high for his standards. Talking about 4 receptions, 67 yards, a bomb for 34 yards. So there was some explosive plays right there. So I like that. I like that a lot. And I like to see Jalen Hurts use other guys outside of just A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. That's how this offense can be at its absolute best when you're not just staring down A.J. Brown. You're not just staring down Devontae Smith, but you're using Jahan Dotson. You're using Grant Calcaterra. You're using Dallas Goedert when he comes back. But I'm seeing the way that Grant Calcaterra is looking. I'm like, shoot, when Dallas Goedert comes back, we got a tight end duo tandem. Woo! Woo! We got something. We got something. I'm looking at Grant Calcaterra, 25 years old from SMU, 6th-round pick. He's having a career year. He's having a career year for real. I like that. I like that. All right, boom. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon had his worst game, but I would like to see him get more carries. I still would like to see him get more carries. I'm trying to stay positive, though. Oh, Kenneth Gainwell. Let me say this. Kenneth Gainwell needs more touches. He needs more touches. Because when we say run the ball, yes, we're saying, all right, Saquon Barkley, please let him cook. But it's also like, it don't got to be just Saquon Barkley all day. It don't got to be that. Let's use Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, he had that 119-yard run that I was like, I was like, wait, was that Saquon? I'm dead. I'm not even bidding. Like, I thought that was Saquon. I was like, oh, Kenneth Gainwell. All right, cool. But we can trust him more. He had 3 carries, 23 yards, 7.7 yards a pop. I mean, if it's working like that, go ahead and use Kenneth Gainwell. You feel what I'm saying? I would say do that. Obviously, you want to give the bulk of the load to Saquon Barkley, but if we're looking at this, we'll say, yo, like, can Kenneth Gainwell get like 7 carries? 7 carries? Because what we can do is decrease the load that Saquon Barkley has rushing the ball and use him more in the passing game. So there isn't as much wear and tear on his body because, all right, yeah, like he can run the ball, but he can also catch the ball. I know that he dropped the ball against the Falcons, but 9 times out of 10, 90 times out of 100, 900 times out of 1,000, this man is going to catch that ball. And I trust Saquon Barkley not just to rush the ball, but to also catch the ball out the backfield too. So I like that. I like that. I think that's very encouraging. I like to see that from Kenneth Gainwell. So those were like the positives that I liked from this offense. Defensively, I like the fact that, you know, we were getting some sacks. We got home. Talk about Milton Williams got one. Oh, he got half a sack. Thomas Booker got half a sack. Bryce Huff got half a sack. Jalen Carter was dominant. Nolan Smith got a sack. Jordan Davis got tackled for loss. Brandon Graham got tackled for loss. That was a brilliant play by Brandon Graham. He's just amazing. He's amazing. Josh Sweat, sack, tackle for loss, couple QB hits. Jalen Carter, 3 QB hits. So, like, I'm looking at this. Even Cooper DeJean, he had half a sack, you know. So, like, you know, ultimately, this defense needs some confidence. I think the most encouraging thing for this Eagles defense was the fact that they were able to get their confidence back. They got their swagger back. And we saw that this defense with Cooper DeJean is very, very different. And I would damn near say more scary with him because we actually were effective during the blitz. I love seeing Cooper DeJean in the blitz, bro. He was getting active. He was everywhere. He was everywhere. Now, I don't know if I would prefer for him to, you know, be a kick returner, for him to be a punt returner, and then go ahead and you know, guard a Jerry Jeudy or whatever the case may be. I probably would opt out of using Cooper DeJean as a punt returner because I just simply don't want to risk him being hurt because we really need the guy on defense. I would rather have him on defense. If he gets injured on defense, knock on wood, I would rather have that than him get injured on a punt return. But nonetheless, he was dynamic, and I loved what I saw from the rookie in his first start. Cooper DeJean definitely snapped out, and I'm happy about that. You know, y'all know how I feel about Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell's one of them ones, man. Quinyon Mitchell's one of them ones. And CJ Garner Johnson, you owe. You owe because Quinyon Mitchell was about to get that pick. He was. Now I'm kind of bitten because it's like, obviously I know like you're trying to make a play and you know, it wasn't like it was intentional, but like you did rob my man from his first pick. And at the time I was pissed off. I was like, dog. Like, and even Quinyon was like, dog, I was about to grab that John. It's kind of like when you're like, you know, guarding somebody like in ball, and then like your man's come over and like fouled it. Cause it's like, bro, like, I got this, gang. I got this, gang. I got this. I got this. So that was something I was like, I know if I was Quinyon, I'd be heated too. I'd be heated too. But I love that Quinyon is not scared of nobody. He be going at everybody. He went at a teammate. He went at Mike Evans. Quinyon Mitchell is a dog, bro. He the future. He the future, and he gonna be the best cornerback in this draft, dog. And with Cooper DeJean in the back, Cooper DeJean in the secondary, oh my gosh, that is a tandem that I would just love to see, man. I would just love to see. I think the linebacking core, you know, with Nakobe and Zach Bond, you know, they were good. Again, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. The Browns aren't a good football team. I have to give the defense credit though. Like they didn't allow a touchdown, so you have to give them credit for that. Like, all right, yeah, the Browns got 16 points, but that 7 points they got was off of a freak Myles Garrett, field goal type of. That wasn't the defense fault, right? So they only gave up 3 points. That's got to be encouraging. And for a guy like Bryce Huff, I'll give Bryce Huff some love, and I feel like he needs it because if we're going to criticize him for not being productive in his first 4 games, we have to go ahead and praise him for having a productive game and being a difference maker on the defense versus the Browns. Yes, we all know the Browns are not world beaters. Yes, we know that the Browns aren't a great football team. But at the end of the day, they are a professional football team, and you have to go ahead and show up because these men, bro, they they put up their draws, no diddy, just like you. Like they do the same thing as you in the day. So it's like you gotta at least give them that respect. And I'm gonna give them that respect. And I'm gonna always be fair. I'm gonna always be fair. Like if you're playing well, I'm going to give you credit with context. If you aren't playing well, I'm going to say that and give context. So if we're gonna get on Bryce Huff for not being productive, then we have to keep that same criticism, keep that same praise for him too. If you're gonna have the criticism, keep the praise. That's what I'm trying to say. So Bryce Huff, you get some love, man. You get some love, and all y'all been waiting for. Special teams, because this next Sirianni thing is gonna be the last thing I talk about. The Eagles' special teams is very, very alarming. You're talking about you have a unit. You have a unit that has negative plays that were momentum shifters in their last 3 games. A block punt versus the Saints, a muff punt versus the Bucks, and a block field goal attempt that returned for a touchdown against the Browns. So Michael Clay, get your squad together. I don't know what's going on, but this special teams unit has to play better. Has to play better. Because again, you can overcome it against a Saints team that's not that good. You can overcome it against a Browns team who's not that good. But hell, if you face a team like the Buccaneers, they'll make you pay. And they aren't world beaters. So just imagine if you get to the playoffs and you face the Lions and you're doing that stuff. Oh my gosh. I know we were laughing at the Cowboys, but they might drop 50 or 60. Can't have that happen. These habits are stuff that you can't continue if you want to be a great team. All right, now the moment y'all been waiting for. Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni finds new ways each week to piss me off. Whether that was against the Falcons, he refuses to kick the football, use Jake Elliott. The time that he did try to kick the ball, it was like a 60-yard field goal, and the man had no warm-up, no nothing. Or what about against the Saints? He still refuses to kick the ball. Or against the Buccaneers, his team starts out flat, ill-prepared, down like 24-zip off rip. Then we go to this game. Let's put some context, y'all. The Browns have a bottom 3 quarterback in this league. Deshaun Watson is cooked. He's no longer a good quarterback. The Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson is over. That's over. Their offensive line is completely banged up. They're down to their 3rd string center. Their 2nd string running back, because you have Nick Chubb out. Jeremy Ford is out during the game. They're down to their 3rd string running back. And you are waving your pom-poms and talking trash to fans like you done won the NFC Championship or won the Super Bowl. You should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed of yourself. Nick Sirianni, I can never take him serious because he's just the biggest hypocrite on this team. And it's like you have a guy that against the Saints, he was trying to hold back Jalen Carter from talking trash to either some of the fans or some of the players. And then 2 weeks later, he's talking trash to fans and taunting folks and doing this stuff. So how can you point to accountability? That's your big thing, accountability. But we're seeing it in broad daylight. You aren't practicing what you preach. I don't care the whole report or whatever we heard when it's like the players, they want Nick Sirianni to be more of himself on the sideline. That may be true. And I agree, that probably is true. They want him to be more of himself. But if I find it hard to believe that when the report came out that like Eagles players wanted Nick Sirianni to be himself, that a guy in Jalen Hurts was okay with his coach talking trash to fans after beating the Browns by 4 points. This same Brown team that got blown out by the Cowboys, got blown out by the Commanders, and the Giants actually beat them by 6 points, and y'all beat them by 4 points. I find it hard to believe that Jalen Hurts looks at Nick Sirianni, who just shaves his head out of nowhere, who is talking trash to fans after being Deshaun Watson and is saying, yeah, he's thorough. He's thorough. Yeah, that's my guy. I find it very hard to believe. I think it's more probable that he's looking back, he's kicking up, the bed with his fiance and being like, he is a nut. He gotta be like some of these players gotta be thinking that just something like I know I gotta just like show face for the public, and I gotta just act like that's my guy, and I want to have good vibes and all that in the locker room, all that. But like, if we're keeping it like, I know some of these players are looking at him like, dog, you a nut, you a nut, you a nut. But like, I just don't get with Nick Sirianni. Like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking, Nick Sirianni, to talk trash to fans? Do you not realize why fans are restless and why fans are booing? They're booing because this Eagles team has not beaten an opponent by more than 2 scores since October 2023. It's October 2024. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You're underperforming with the boatload of talent you have. That's just a fact. But I hope there's just no way that Jeffrey Lurie looks at Nick Sirianni and says, yeah, you're going to be the head coach for the future. You're going to be the head coach after this year. I hope and I've been saying don't fire him mid-season, and I stand by that. I mean, look, I don't want to fire him mid-season. But ultimately, day one of the offseason for the Eagles, whether they miss the playoffs, make the playoffs, lose in the first round, make it to the NFC Championship, make it to the Super Bowl, only if they win the Super Bowl. That's the only scenario where I see, all right, Sirianni stays. That's the only scenario that I see that his job is good. He's the worst. He's the absolute worst, bro. And it's just like Brian Johnson was the scapegoat, but I would rather have Brian Johnson than Kellen Moore. I'd rather have that. Kellen Moore ain't been good at all. Now, there's an argument that this isn't his offense. That may or may not be true. But there could be an argument that it wasn't Brian Johnson's offense, and he was still better than what we're seeing right now. And he didn't have Saquon Barkley. He didn't have Saquon Barkley. Brian Johnson did. So imagine what Brian Johnson would do with Saquon Barkley instead of DeAndre Swift. Just saying. I'm just saying you kind of benefit when a guy on any given play can go for 60 yards to the crib. I mean, you saw Saquon Barkley was about to bust that John open, and then Cam Jurgens got in his way. He was about to go to the crib again. He was. He was. Nick Sirianni, his days are numbered. And he knows how Philly is, though. My thing is, why are you signing up to be the Philadelphia head coach knowing what this city brings? When Eagles fans boo, it's actually a compliment. Now, I'm not a player, I'm not a coach, so y'all I don't know how it really feels. But from the fans, it's like we expect excellence out of you. And if I'm going out here paying $200, $300 to see y'all play of my hard-earned money, I'm going to expect excellence out of you. I'm going to expect this offense to look very, very good. Eagles fans expect this Eagles offense to look like the Lions offense. They have the weapons. They have a better wide receiver. A.J. Brown is over Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have a better number 2 wide receiver. Devontae Smith is better than Jameson Williams. They have a better running back. Now, they have a better running back duo, the Lions do, but they do what the Eagles do have the best the best running back. They have the best quarterback, too. I think the Lions have a better offensive line, but it's very, very close. Tight ends, I would give us the edge. I like Dallas Goedert more than Sam Laporta. And shoot, Grant Calcaterra has been just as effective as Sam Laporta. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, we have 2 great offenses with offenses with great players, and we're seeing one guy in Ben Johnson really go ahead and maximize his talent, and we're seeing a guy in Kellen Moore not maximize his talent. And we're also seeing Brian Johnson put on a clinic with what he's doing with Jaden Daniels. I know they lost, but still, Jaden Daniels has been balling. My last thing, I got 2 last things. It's not really about Nick Sirianni talking trash to the fans. It's just the fact that this team did not play particularly well against the Browns, and you're out here waving your pom-poms and talking crazy. Like when you was talking crazy to the Chiefs after we went to Arrowhead and beat the reigning champs last year, I supported you. Because that was a great win. And a lot of Philly supported you when the rest of the world was saying, you're a nut. You just lost to this team. This ain't the Super Bowl. Like, why you waving your pom-poms? Why you talking trash to fans? All this stuff. A lot of us supported you. But what's not Philly is barely being a team that you should have blown out and talking crazy. I could see if Nick Sirianni was talking crazy and they being this team by 20 points, 25 points, 30 points. I could be like, you know what? I don't necessarily agree with it, but you know what? Go ahead, pop it. Like, y'all did y'all thing coming off the bye. Y'all look very, very good. But you eke out a win against a Deshaun Watson-led team in 2024. That brother is cooked. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? I don't like that stuff, bro. I just don't like it. Um, we have that going on. My last point, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I have to say this real talk, man. I feel like the corniest thing that Nick Sirianni did was use his kids as pity in the post-game press conference. Now, let me put this disclaimer out. He has 3 beautiful children. Beautiful, amazing. I know they'll do great things in life. Their dad is tremendously successful, and they should be proud of their dad. They should be proud. I'm trying to put this disclaimer out, but this got nothing to do with the kids. This has nothing to do with the kids, bro. Nick Sirianni knew what he was doing by bringing his kids to that post-game press conference, because it's like, you know what the questions were finna be. You know that y'all barely beat the Browns. You heard them chant saying fire Nick Sirianni, and you knew what them questions were going to be. And you were not slick. You purposely brought your kids in that, John, to use as a way for the reporters not to go as hard on you immediately after the game, because your son, your daughter, all of them is there. You talking about this family time and how you preach, all these core values to the team that you preach to your family, all this stuff. You're not slick. I bet you're a great father, a great husband, all of that. And we're not saying that you're not. But you're not slick in what you are doing, and it is unprofessional, because you are using the kids to be able to have a cop out and to not answer the hard questions that you should answer, given how your squad looked off the bye. And again, before y'all try to come at me, his kids are amazing. His kids, I know, will do great things. It's not about them. It's not about them. But I vehemently disagree with bringing on your kids when you know the heat is about to be on you. It's different after a win. It's different when you know the thing, like, it's going to be positive. But it's like, if you know that, like, look, like, it's going to be a tough press conference and you're going to have to answer some tough questions, when you're not slick in what you're trying to do. And it's not thorough. And if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I'm looking at this, I'm like, dog, he just not it. He's not it. So again, like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz, man. Show it a friend, show it a friend. We're going to talk more about this team this week ahead of this Giants game that, again, I don't know if we'll win or not. But we'll take it week by week, and we'll see with what this Eagles team is made of. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We'll talk with MJ. We out.